The night I lost my home, the temperature was 12 degrees below freezing. My landlord placed 2 suitcases in the snow and locked the door behind me. I was 8 months pregnant with twins. 40 minutes later, I collapsed in front of the Mafia Queen's car. Before that happened, I stood on the icy sidewalk and pounded on the apartment door. "Mr. Kessler, please, my medicine is still inside." The property manager watched me through the glass. "Your lease ended today, June. My rent is paid. Then argue it in court." He turned off the hall light. Snow covered my suitcases within minutes. One held clothes, the other held 2 tiny blankets, hospital papers, and everything I had bought for my daughters. I had $43 in my wallet, and no one I could call. The nearest warming shelter was full. The hospital was 6 blocks away, and I told myself 6 blocks was nothing. It became everything. Wind pushed ice beneath my coat. My omega senses, already sharp from pregnancy, filled with exhaust, cold metal, and my own fear. The twins kicked hard as if they were trying to wake me from a bad dream. "Just a little farther," I whispered to them. At the 4th block, the street disappeared behind white snow. Headlights appeared through it. I tried to step back. My boots slipped. My knee struck the road, and the world went dark before the car could touch me. When I opened my eyes, a woman in a black coat was kneeling in the snow. Serena Vale. Even half frozen, I knew the face whispered about in courtrooms and nightclubs. Serena was an alpha, the head of the Vale organization, and the woman police had tried for years to connect to half the crimes near the harbor. Her gloved fingers hovered near my throat. "May I check your pulse?" I nodded because my teeth would not stop shaking. She touched me gently, then looked at my stomach. "How far along?" 34 weeks. "Ambulance," she told her driver. I caught her wrist. "No hospital. I can't afford it." Her gray eyes held mine. "I didn't ask what you could afford." Then she lifted her coat around me, blocked the blizzard with her own body, and waited for the sirens. The hospital confirmed that both babies were safe. I had mild hypothermia, a bruised knee, and early contractions caused by stress and cold. The doctor stopped the contractions and warned me that the twins needed more time. Serena waited outside while I was examined. When a nurse asked whether I wanted her admitted as my alpha, I almost laughed. "She isn't mine." Serena heard me through the curtain. "Correct," she said calmly. "I found Miss Carter in the road. I have no medical authority, unless she gives it." Powerful alphas had been deciding things for omegas like me for generations. Serena could have walked through every rule in that hospital. Instead, she sat in a plastic chair and waited to be invited. I invited her in when the nurse brought my wet suitcases. The smaller one had opened in the snow. Serena picked up a tiny yellow hat and placed it carefully on top of the folded clothes. "Where were you going?" she asked. "The hospital." "From where?" I gave her the address. Her expression changed. "Vale Residential owns that building." My stomach tightened. "Of course it does. What does that mean?" "It means the woman paying my hospital bill also owns the company that threw me into the snow." Serena did not defend herself. She took out her phone and called someone named Elena March, her company attorney. Her questions were short and exact. Was there an eviction order for Unit 3C? Number. Was rent overdue? No. Had any court notice been filed against June Carter? No. Serena ended the call. The silence around her felt colder than the storm. "The eviction was illegal," she said. "That doesn't put me back inside." "No. The building has old heating pipes, and your unit was flagged for repairs last month. You should never have been removed tonight." I heard the word flagged and remembered a page in the office ledger. My name had been written beside a red mark. Before I could ask about it, a discharge nurse entered with a tablet. "We can release you once your temperature remains normal for another hour." "What address should we use?" I looked at my 2 suitcases. "I don't have one." The nurse glanced at Serena. then back at me. Do you have a friend, family member, or shelter placement? With a high-risk twin pregnancy, we need somewhere heated and safe. No. The word left nothing between me and the truth. I'm homeless. Serena rose. She isn't returning to that building. She's coming home with me. I turned toward her. For one night, she did not look insulted. For as long, or as little, as you choose. The nurse asked Serena for the address. She gave it, then asked me whether I wanted a different discharge plan reviewed first. No order, no hand closing around my choice. Outside the window, snow erased the city, one street at a time. I signed the form. On Serena's phone, a message appeared before the screen went dark. Kessler says the Carter file is missing. Find it before she talks. I saw only 6 words. Serena saw the rest. Serena's estate stood behind stone walls and pine trees bent beneath snow. I expected a fortress. It was one, but warm light filled every window. The car stopped beneath an entrance. Serena's driver carried one suitcase and reached for the other. That one stays with me, I said. It held the baby's things. Of course, Serena answered. She led me through a quiet hall to a separate guest wing. It had a bedroom, sitting room, kitchen, nursery, and private entrance facing a small winter garden. The nursery was empty, except for 2 unopened cribs in flat boxes. I did not know what you would want, Serena said. Nothing will be arranged without you. She placed a heavy ring of keys in my palm. This opens the outside gate, guest entrance, door to the main house, medicine cabinet, garage, and emergency supply room. You're giving me every key? Every key to this wing. The estate master key remains with me and the head of security. You may ask for the interior lock to be changed so it cannot open your rooms. I studied her. Why tell me that? Serena walked to the bedroom door and turned the lock from inside. A locked door only protects you if you control the key. The sentence found the part of me still standing outside my apartment. She showed me the cameras on the exterior walls and the screen where I could view them. None pointed into my rooms. A red switch disabled audio from the guest entrance. No guards come inside without your permission, she said. In an active fire, medical emergency, or attack, they may enter after announcing themselves. And if I leave? The north gate opens with that key. A car and driver are available. You may also call any taxi you want. Will they report where I go? My driver reports only that you arrived safely. A taxi reports nothing to me. She opened a final door. Beyond it was an emergency passage that led to the garage. I counted the exits. She noticed. 3, she said. 4 if the garden gate is clear. You really are a Mafia Queen. People call me many things. Are they wrong? Her face became still. Not about all of it. She did not give me a clean lie just because I was cold and dependent on her. That honesty should have frightened me away. Instead, it made the room feel more solid. Serena pointed to a folder on the kitchen table. Inside was a written agreement from an independent lawyer. It said I owed no rent, labor, loyalty, information, affection, or repayment. My medical care would be paid through a housing emergency fund, while I decided whether to file a claim against Vale Residential. You would fund a case against your own company? My company put you in the snow. Kessler did. In a building with my name hidden in its ownership records. Responsibility does not vanish because I hired someone to stand between us. She showed me how to call the kitchen, doctor, driver, and security desk. Then she stopped at the door. Do you need anything tonight? I wanted to say no. Needing nothing had once felt like the closest thing I had to freedom. The twins kicked, and my wet shoes sat beside the heater. Something warm to eat. Serena nodded as if I had given her a gift. Soup or pasta? Soup. It will be outside in 20 minutes. I will knock tomorrow unless you ask me not to come. She left. I locked the door behind her with my key. 20 minutes later, there was one knock. When I opened the door, soup waited on a tray, but no one waited to see whether I ate it. The next afternoon, I tested the freedom Serena had promised. I called a taxi without telling anyone and asked it to meet me at the north gate. My prescription was ready at a pharmacy 2 miles away, and I wanted to learn whether the key in my pocket was real or only a pretty symbol. The garden path had been cleared, but snow still fell around me. I unlocked the gate. A guard stepped out of the gatehouse. "Miss Carter, a car is waiting in the heated garage." I called my own. He looked toward the main house, then opened the outer barrier. "Would you like me to confirm the taxi plate for safety?" "Yes, nothing else." He checked the plate and stepped back. Serena did not call. No vehicle followed us. When I returned, she was in the main hall speaking with her attorney. "You went out," she said. I waited for the anger. "I did." "Were the roads clear enough?" "Barely." "Then I'm glad you returned safely." That was all. At the pharmacy, I learned Serena's emergency fund had covered my medicine as a grant with no repayment terms. I showed it to her. "If I leave tomorrow, this stays a grant?" "Yes." "If I testify against your company?" "Yes." "If I decide I dislike you?" One corner of her mouth lifted. "The medicine may continue disliking me from inside your body." The answer made me smile. But the gate mattered more. Serena had watched me use an exit without punishing me. At midnight, I checked my suitcases. The baby clothes were untouched. The pocket where I had hidden an old office flash drive was open. Someone had searched it before we left the hospital. The next morning, Serena knocked exactly 3 times. I opened the door but left the chain attached. She held up a paper bag. The kitchen was told pregnant omegas sometimes want strange breakfasts. I refused to guess. Pickles and strawberry yogurt. Serena looked inside the bag. Apparently the kitchen guessed. I laughed before I could protect myself from it. She smiled, and the cold alpha scent around her softened into cedar and warm spice. I removed the chain. Over breakfast, I told her about the searched suitcase. Serena did not touch it. She called the hospital and asked them to preserve corridor footage. Then she offered to have security examine the case. "Only if I stay while they do it," I said. Agreed. The footage showed a hospital orderly entering my room while I had been in the bathroom. His face was hidden by a mask. St. Anne's had no employee matching his badge number. That afternoon, an unknown number called my new phone. "Return the Carter records," a man said. "You stole things that do not belong to you." "I don't have any records." "You saw them. That is enough." The line went dead. Serena wanted the phone so her people could trace the call. She held out her hand, then stopped. "May I?" I gave it to her. That small question mattered more than the armed guards who appeared beyond my windows. For the next week, snow kept falling, and the estate became its own quiet world. Dr. Shah came for my prenatal check because the roads to her clinic were unsafe. Before she entered, Serena gave me a written privacy notice stating that the doctor worked for me, not the estate. "You will receive no report unless June authorizes it," Dr. Shah told her. Understood. Serena waited in the hall. The doctor checked the twins' heartbeats, reviewed my birth plan, and asked whether I felt safe where I was staying. I looked at the closed door and realized I could answer honestly. "Safer than I expected," I said. After the examination, I opened the door. Serena was sitting on the floor with her back against the wall, reading a file. "You could have waited somewhere comfortable. You said you might need help standing when the examination ended." She rose but did not offer her arm until I reached for it. Dr. Shah showed us how to recognize early labor and what to do if the roads closed completely. Serena wrote down every instruction. "You know there will be nurses at the delivery," I said. "I know. You may not be there." Her pen stopped for half a second. "I know that too." She kept taking notes. Serena arranged my cravings without turning them into grand gestures. Sour cherries appeared beside my breakfast. Hot bread arrived at midnight. When I asked for the cheap orange soda from the corner store, she sent her driver past 5 expensive markets to find it. You could say no sometimes, I told her. I do. You have simply not asked me to commit a felony yet. I thought felonies were your area. Old reputation. Her mouth almost smiled. The next morning, the same gray car passed the north gate 3 times. Its plates belonged to a vehicle destroyed 2 years earlier. Serena added guards outside the wall. She did not place any inside my rooms. The cribs remained in boxes until I decided I wanted them assembled. I found Serena on the nursery floor one evening, with instruction pages spread around her like surrender flags. She wore an expensive navy suit. One sleeve was rolled up, and a streak of white paint crossed the jacket. The feared Serena Vale has been defeated by furniture, I said. The diagram is dishonest. You put the left rail on the right side. Then the letters are dishonest too. I lowered myself carefully beside her and turned the rail. May I help? She asked. It's my nursery. That was why I asked. We built the first crib together. When Serena tightened the final screw, both twins moved beneath my sweater. She stared. They did that when you spoke, I said. Coincidence. Say something else. Serena leaned closer to my stomach, still keeping space between us. Your mother is laughing at my construction skills. 2 strong kicks answered. Serena looked so offended that I laughed until tears filled my eyes. Then she laughed too. It was the first real laugh I had heard from her, low, surprised, and warmer than every fire in the house. That night, her security team reported that my former landlord had vanished. Kessler was the property manager, but the man who had physically changed my lock was the building superintendent, Owen Pike. His apartment was empty. His car remained beneath 6 inches of snow. On the kitchen counter, police found a note with only my name on it. 2 nights later, a cramp pulled me awake. I reached for the medical button, then stopped. The pain was sharp but not regular. I called Serena instead. She arrived in less than a minute and knocked. June? I'm awake. Do you want me inside? Fear made me want every door open and closed at the same time. Wait there. I'm here. She sat outside while I called the doctor. She did not unlock the door, even when I cried out. Dr. Shaw said it sounded like a muscle cramp and told me how to stretch. I tried, but my leg would not release. Serena? Yes. Come in. I unlocked the door. She entered slowly and stopped beside the bed. May I touch your leg? Yes, my calf. Her hands were warm through the blanket. She followed the doctor's instructions, careful and clinical, until the muscle relaxed. I realized then that she had come barefoot. Snow had blown through the outer hall and melted beneath her feet. You forgot your shoes. She looked down. So I did. I laughed weakly. Her phone rang before she could smile. The gray car had been found abandoned near the river. Inside were photographs of me at the hospital, the estate, and the window of my old apartment office. One photograph showed me holding an accounting ledger. I finally understood why Kessler had put me into the blizzard. Before I worked nights at a grocery store, I had trained as a bookkeeper. 3 months earlier, Kessler hired me for temporary work in the building office. He said Vale Residential needed old tenant accounts entered into a new system. I told Serena everything in the guest kitchen, while the storm pressed white hands against the windows. The totals were wrong, I said. Tenants paid in cash, but some payments never reached the company account. Kessler marked the difference as emergency maintenance. How much? At least $200,000 across 4 buildings. Maybe more. Serena's attorney, Elena March, joined us by secure video. I opened a spreadsheet and rebuilt 3 months from memory. Kessler used work order numbers to hide withdrawals. A boiler repair listed at $12,000 had cost $1,200. The remaining money had moved through a vendor called North Star Heating. Elena searched the state registry. North Star is owned by a holding company connected to Adrian Rusk. The room went silent. Rusk controlled the rival organization on the west side. He had spent years trying to force Serena out of legitimate housing projects near the harbor. Why exploit tenants? I asked. Serena studied the numbers. To finance attacks with my company's money, then expose the missing funds and destroy public trust in Vale Residential. Kessler got greedy. He collected extra cash from people who were afraid to complain. And you noticed? I nodded. I copied part of the ledger to a flash drive. When I realized what it might be, I panicked and deleted it. Deleted files can be recovered, Elena said. Not from the drive. I crushed it after the hospital call. Serena watched me carefully. Then what are they looking for? I opened the spreadsheet formula bar. My original work. Kessler made me upload entries into the company portal. Every edit should have a history. Elena tried to access it. The audit logs were gone. But Kessler did not understand bookkeeping as well as he thought. When he deleted the entries, the monthly balance sheet stopped matching the tenant deposit account. The missing trail remained as a hole shaped exactly like the theft. For 2 days, I worked with Elena to trace it. I called tenants whose accounts appeared in my reconstructed sheet. Serena's investigators wanted to ask the questions, but people who feared landlords did not speak freely to men in dark suits. They spoke to me. Mrs. Alvarez in 2A had paid an extra $300 to keep Kessler from reporting her adult son as an illegal occupant. Mr. Bell in 4D had been charged twice for a broken heater that was never repaired. A pregnant beta in another Vale building had paid Kessler cash after he threatened to cancel her lease. I recorded each call with permission and matched each payment to a fake work order. Kessler had turned heat, shelter, and fear into his private bank. Serena listened to one recording and went silent. I bought these buildings to make the harbor legitimate, she said. I never asked what legitimacy felt like to the people paying rent. Then ask now. We held a secure video meeting with 6 tenants. Serena did not give a speech. She listened, wrote down every complaint, and authorized emergency repairs before the call ended. The tenants still did not trust her. She did not demand that they should. That night, someone tried to enter the Foundation server with my username. The attack deleted the shared spreadsheet, but I had stored an encrypted copy on an offline drive beside my bed. Kessler had taught me one useful lesson: never keep the only truth in a place controlled by the person who feared it. Serena brought food, made calls, and guarded the door without taking over my chair. When I needed property files, she authorized them. When I disagreed with her investigators, she made them listen. Then someone shot at the estate's outer camera. The bullet did not enter the grounds, but Serena ended the meeting. June will stop working on this. I closed my laptop slowly. Will I? Rusk knows you are the only witness who understands the accounts, which is why the work matters. My investigators can finish it. They missed the work order pattern. I will not use you as bait. I did not ask you to. Serena stood between me and the window, as if her body could stop every danger in the world. You will remain in the secure wing. The command changed the air. I took the estate keys from my pocket and placed them on the table. You gave me these because you said I controlled the doors. Regret crossed her face. June, protecting me does not mean removing me from my own story. I am trying to keep you alive. By making every choice for me. If Rusk reaches you, then give me information, training, and safe options. Do not turn safety into another lock. The wind threw snow against the glass. Serena looked at the keys between us. When she spoke again, the Queen had left her voice. You're right. She pushed the keys back toward me. I know how to control threats. I do not know how to protect someone without trying to control the whole world around her. Learn. Will you help me? If you remember that help is not obedience. She nodded. We made a new plan together. I would continue the audit from the estate. Serena would show me every security report involving me. I would not visit a property without police or fire protection present. That last part became important sooner than either of us expected. At 11:17 that night, Owen Pike called me from a blocked number. "Kessler has the original ledgers," he whispered. "He's going to burn the Hawthorne building tomorrow." "Where are you?" There was a crash on his end. "Check the boiler codes." The call ended. Outside, the blizzard swallowed the road again. Before we could decode Owen's warning, the power failed. The estate went dark. Backup lights glowed red in the hall, but the guest wing generator did not start. Serena knocked on my nursery door. "It's me. May I enter?" "Yes." She carried 2 emergency lamps and a radio. Security believed ICE had taken down the North Line, but they were checking for sabotage. We waited in the nursery because it was the warmest interior room. The unfinished cribs cast long shadows against the walls. Snow turned the windows white until it looked as if the rest of the world had vanished. "This is how it felt outside the apartment," I said. "Like the cold could erase me, and no one would notice." Serena sat on the floor across from me. "I noticed. You almost hit me with a car." "I noticed very suddenly." I smiled. One twin moved. I took Serena's hand before fear could stop me and placed it on my stomach. She went completely still. The first kick pressed beneath her palm. The second answered from the other side. Wonder opened Serena's face. "Both?" she whispered. "Both. They're strong." They had to be. Her thumb moved once over my sweater, then stopped. "Is this all right?" "Yes." The room warmed by one impossible degree. I leaned forward and kissed her. It was soft and brief. Serena responded for half a heartbeat, then pulled back. "Is this gratitude?" "No, gratitude doesn't make me want tomorrow with you." Her breath caught. "And if tomorrow feels different?" "Then I will tell you, and I will listen." She kissed me once, no deeper than a promise. Then she rested her forehead against mine, while the twins kicked between us. The emergency lamps flickered. Serena's radio came alive. "Power failure was deliberate," a guard said. "We caught a man near the generator. He had plans for the Hawthorne property. The warmth inside the nursery remained, but the blizzard outside had just found a new way in." Owen's words, "Check the boiler codes," sent me back through the entries I remembered. Kessler numbered fake repairs in groups of 4. The first digit was always a building. The last 2 matched a unit number, except Hawthorne had no apartments above 5D. One repeated code ended in 72. 72 is not an apartment, Elena said over the phone. I looked at the old property plan. It's a storage cage in the basement. 7 means basement ledger, 2 means second cage. Serena called the fire department and federal investigators. A winter road closure delayed both. Then Hawthorne's building alarm went offline. "Kessler is there now," I said. Serena ordered her driver to prepare an armored vehicle. "You stay here." I looked at her. She closed her eyes for 1 second. That was control, not protection. "Yes. The roads are dangerous, and you are 35 weeks pregnant. I believe the safest choice is for you to guide us remotely. The property database failed with the power. I am the only one who can identify the right codes from memory. Then come with me. You remain in the vehicle, unless lives depend on information only you have." Agreed. The armored car fought through the blizzard. Hawthorne appeared as a dark brick shape behind sheets of snow. Smoke rose from a basement window. Serena's team found the front doors unlocked, but chains secured both rear exits. "There are tenants inside," I said. Kessler had claimed the building was empty for boiler work. Lights moved behind 3rd and 4th floor windows. A woman pounded against the glass with a child in her arms. I left the car. "June!" Serena shouted. "The main fire panel is in the office. If Kessler disabled the automatic signal, I can trigger the manual building alarm and release the apartment locks." Serena looked at the smoke, then at me. "Stay beside me." "You stay beside me too." We entered through the lobby. Smoke rolled along the ceiling. Serena covered my mouth with a clean cloth after I nodded. One guard broke the rear chain, while another called tenants downstairs. The office door had an electronic lock. No power. I pulled the old brass key from my estate ring. "Why would that fit?" Serena asked. Vale Residential used the same emergency key system in every building. The key turned. Inside, I found the manual alarm lever and pulled it. Bells screamed through Hawthorne. Magnetic apartment fire locks released. Voices and footsteps filled the stairwell. "Alarm active!" Serena called into her radio. "Evacuate every floor." She went up with 2 guards while I opened the street doors and directed tenants toward warming buses. An elderly Omega stumbled at the bottom step. I caught her arm and helped her through the smoke. "My grandson," she coughed. "4th floor." Serena's voice answered over the radio. "I have the child, coming down." She appeared with a little boy wrapped inside her coat. For one moment, the feared Mafia Queen was only a woman carrying someone else's child out of the cold. Then an explosion shook the basement. Kessler ran from the service stairs with a metal cash box under one arm. He saw me and turned toward the alley. "The ledgers!" I shouted. Serena handed the boy to his grandmother and followed. I knew better than to chase a man into a burning basement. Instead, I opened the accounting app on my phone and checked the code sequence. Cage 72 was not where Kessler had been. The cash box was a decoy. The real records were in 74, behind the boiler feed valve. Smoke poured through the service door. The sprinkler system had not started. "He shut the water," I said. I found the red valve wheel shown on the property plan and turned it with both hands. It would not move. Owen Pike appeared behind the boiler room door, blood on his forehead. "Together," he said. Kessler had trapped him there. Together, we forced the wheel open. Pipes groaned. Sprinklers burst alive on every floor. The fire slowed. Owen led me to cage 74. Behind a loose wall panel were 6 paper ledgers and a small server drive sealed in plastic. I photographed every cover and sent the images to Elena and the investigators. Then I carried the drive while Owen took the ledgers. Outside, Serena had Kessler against the hood of a car. His lip bled. Her hand closed around the front of his coat. "Do it," he taunted. "Show her what you are, Queen." Serena's gun lay in the snow beside them. Kessler smiled at me. "She'll kill me, Omega. Then everything she promised you becomes another lie." Serena's alpha scent cut through the smoke, sharp with rage. She could have ended him before the police crossed the next block. I did not beg her to be good for me. I held up the server drive. "We have the truth. Choose what happens next." Serena looked at the tenants huddled in blankets. She looked at the little boy still wearing her coat. Then she released Kessler. "Martin Kessler," she said, loud enough for every camera and witness. "You are being held for attempted murder, arson, fraud, and illegal eviction until police arrive." She kicked his weapon away and put plastic restraints around his wrists. When federal investigators arrived, Serena surrendered the gun, evidence, company codes, Rusk's names, and files on her own organization. "Those weren't part of the housing case," one investigator said. "They are part of the same future," Serena answered. She had spent her life believing protection meant controlling every danger herself. In the snow outside Hawthorne, she chose something harder. She trusted the law, the evidence, and me to stand beside her without becoming hers to command. Then warm water ran down my legs. I looked at Serena. "I think the twins have chosen now too." The ambulance reached us in 6 minutes. My contractions were 4 minutes apart at St. Anne's. The cold, smoke, and stress had pushed my body into labor. "The babies are strong," she said, "but they are coming tonight." Serena stood outside the delivery room in a smoke-stained shirt. She looked more frightened than she had in the burning building. "June, may I come in?" The question carried every key she had ever placed in my hand. "Yes." She changed into scrubs and took the place the nurse showed her. Labor lasted 9 hours. Serena held my hand when I offered it, counted breaths, and stayed silent when I needed silence. When I said I could not continue, she did not order me to be strong. "You do not have to prove anything," she whispered. "Just take the next breath with me." At dawn, my first daughter arrived screaming. "Baby A," the doctor said. "Girl, 5 pounds, 1 ounce." I named her Ivy because green things survived winter. Her sister followed 7 minutes later, smaller and furious at the lights. Noelle weighed 4 pounds, 9 ounces. Both babies needed observation, but neither needed breathing support. The nurse placed Ivy on my chest, then Noelle beside her. Serena stood 2 steps away. Tears moved silently down the face so many people feared. "Come closer," I said. "Are you sure? I want you here." She approached. I lifted Ivy carefully. "Hold her." Serena's hands trembled. "June, support her head. She already knows your voice." Serena accepted my daughter, as if I had trusted her with the whole warm world. Ivy opened her eyes, made a small complaining sound, and settled against Serena's chest. "Hello," Serena whispered. "You took your time." "She was busy kicking you." Serena laughed through her tears. Outside, the blizzard finally ended. The server drive proved Kessler had stolen from 46 tenants and sent the money through North Star Heating to Rusk. It also proved he ordered my eviction after I opened the audit history. Kessler was arrested. Owen entered witness protection, and his testimony proved the fire was planned. Rusk and 6 associates were charged with fraud, conspiracy, arson, and attempted murder. Serena was investigated too. She turned over her criminal records and accepted permanent outside oversight. Her cooperation closed 2 smuggling routes. She did not ask me to call that sacrifice romantic. "It was necessary before I met you," she said. "Meeting you only made it impossible to keep pretending otherwise." Every displaced tenant received a heated apartment, moving costs, and returned rent. Serena sold a club to pay the claims. Vale Residential became the Vale Open Door Foundation, a non-profit housing organization run by an independent board. I applied for the financial director position. Serena refused to join the interview panel. "If you get the job," she said, "I want you to know you earned it without my hand on the scale." I got it. I required automatic rent receipts, public repair reports, and confirmed shelter before any cold weather eviction. I also created a fund for pregnant Omegas facing housing discrimination. By then, Ivy and Noelle slept in the cribs Serena and I had built. The white paint never came out of her navy jacket. She kept it anyway. 6 weeks after the twins were born, Serena entered the guest kitchen carrying a folder. She knocked even though the door stood open. "May I?" I smiled. "Yes." She placed a housing agreement on the table. It promised equal privacy, fair shared expenses, and my right to leave without penalty. The address line was blank. "You forgot the property," I said. "No." Serena set 3 brochures beside it. The estate, a quiet house, and a downtown apartment. "Choose any home you want. I only hope you choose one with me in it." I read every page. Old fear told me love, offered by a powerful alpha, would always hide a cage somewhere in the small print. There was no small print. What if I choose the downtown apartment? I will learn to survive without a garden. What if I choose a place that isn't on your list? Then we will look at it. What if I'm not ready to sign? Then the guest wing remains yours, and I will ask again only if you invite the question. I picked up a pen. "I choose the estate." Hope flashed across her face. "Because of me?" "Because it has 4 exits, a nursery we built together, and a kitchen that understands pickles with yogurt." She laughed. I wrote the estate address in the blank. "And because of you." Serena signed beside me, not above me. Outside, the last winter snow melted from the garden. Inside, Ivy began crying. Noelle joined her 1 breath later. Serena reached for the bottles. "Your daughters are issuing demands." Our daughters, I said. She stopped. I had never seen a queen look so humbled by 2 words. Our daughters, she repeated. 1 year after Serena found me in the road, snow fell again. This storm was gentle. White flakes drifted across the windshield and melted on the warm glass. Ivy and Noelle sat in the back seat wearing yellow coats. Ivy sang to one mitten. Noelle had thrown hers onto the floor and was trying to steal her sister's. I sat beside Serena in the front. My salary went into my own account. My name stood on the house agreement. My ring held the estate, office, car, and old Hawthorne keys. It reminded me that a key could expose a cage as easily as lock one. We parked beside the restored Hawthorne building. New fire doors opened from inside without keys. Warm light filled every apartment, and tenant rights were posted in 5 languages. At the anniversary dinner, the boy Serena had rescued crowned her snack queen with a folded paper crown. I watched her pass out hot chocolate and knew her power had changed direction. She built systems people could question, records no one person could erase, and doors that opened for those inside. After dinner, Serena drove us to the street where she had found me. Snow softened the sidewalks. The old apartment entrance glowed beneath a new lamp. "Why are we here?" I asked. "Because this is where your first choice led to us." Collapsing was not much of a choice. You accepted the ambulance. You refused to discuss the price. She parked and turned toward me. In the back seat, both girls had fallen asleep. Serena opened a small box. The ring inside was simple, with 2 tiny snowflakes engraved around the band. "This is not a request to stay at the estate," she said. "It is not a claim on your work, money, choices, or future. That is a very legal proposal. I live with a financial director." I smiled through sudden tears. Serena took my hand but did not put the ring on it. "June Carter, will you choose a life with me? In any house, through every season, for as long as we keep choosing each other?" I looked at the woman who had once believed protection meant building walls around every danger. She had learned to place keys in my hand instead. "Yes. May I?" I held out my finger. "Yes." She slid the ring into place. Then she kissed me softly, while snow moved around the car, and our daughters slept warm behind us. The first time Serena found me, my home was sitting in 2 suitcases in the snow. A year later, I understood that home had never been the building behind me. It was the woman beside me who placed every key in my hand and trusted me to choose which door to open. If you believe love should keep you warm without becoming a cage, leave 2 snowflakes in the comments.